Hey, what's going on? This is another episode of the Reporter Vlog News for June 1st, 2026. June 1st, 2026, on a Monday afternoon, late Monday afternoon. Gonna try to get 3 men today. Uh, Start with, I guess, say a couple old ones, but still useful and pretty much a heavyweight one to finish up the triple header. And boy, what a heavyweight one. I should save it for the reporter vlog on YouTube, but I guess I'll do it on my page, on the reporter vlog on Facebook. But let's get right into it. I don't ran my mouth enough. First story, federal prosecutors have indicted former U of L star Terry Rozier on additional charges related to a sports gambling sting. But behind the story, let's see. Might not be able to do this story about Rozier. Let's see. Yeah, this story's going to, I'm going to throw this story in the garbage. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, next story, ICE agent accused of shooting a man in North Minneapolis, arrested in Texas. It's kind of old. It's from May 29th. At, yeah, pretty much from May 29th. Brought about CBS News. Publisher being Kai Nace and Adam Duchter. Updated on May 29, 2026, 11:49 a.m. from CBS, Minnesota. Okay, Immigration and Custom of Enforcement agent accused of shooting a man in the leg in North Minneapolis and then lying about the attack was arrested in Texas Friday morning. Going to the Hennepin County Attorney Office. On January 14th, amid Operation Metro Surge, 52-year-old Christian Castro shot Julio uh, Cesar Sosa Celis, a Venezuelan national criminal. Charges say that Castro was charged on May 18th was 4 counts of second degree assault and 1 count of falsely reporting a crime. Charges triggered a nationwide warrant for Castro's arrest. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension investigators tracked him down in Texas earlier this week. He was taken into custody by the Department of Homeland Security agents and Texas Rangers. Today's arrest is a critical step forward in our prosecution of Mr. Castro, Hebelpen County Attorney Mary Moriarty said. The BCA's investigative work was instrumental in this process, and we're grateful for their collaboration as we pursue accountability for this incident in behalf of Mr. Sosa Celis, his family, and our community. So the BCA Superintendent Drew Evans said the arrest represents a next step in a long-established legal process, and we will allow the work necessary to bring Mr. Castro back to Minnesota to face these charges. In Minnesota, we believe in equal justice under the law. That means nobody is above the law, including agents of the federal government. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison added in a written statement. According to the charges, the incident in North Minnesota, Minneapolis, started when the ICE agent in an unmarked car started chasing a man driving for DoorDash who lived in a home in Sosa Celis. Let's repeat that again. ICE agents in an unmarked car started chasing a man driving for the DoorDash. Got a job. Not doing nothing illegal, but getting hounded. The complaint says the man tried to run inside the home on North 6th Street in North 24th Avenue. So the Celis ran out and saw Castro catch the man and struggle with him. The complaint said Sosa Celis had a broomstick and swung it at Castro, but did not hit him. Charges say Sosa Celis and the other man made it inside the home and were trying to shut the door when Castro fired through it. 6 people, including 2 children, were inside at the time. Ooh. Castro, along with other officers involved in the incident, wrongly accused Sosa Celis and another man of assaulting them with a shovel and broomstick. The Department of Homeland Security repeated the false allegation. The agents were placed on leave for the lie. The federal assault charges against Sosa Celis and the other man were dropped. Shooting happened a week after Renee Good was shot and killed by ICE agent Jonathan Ross in South Minneapolis. Thousands of federal law enforcement officers had descended upon Minnesota at the time as a part of the immigration crackdown. Statement by DHS is in response to Friday's arrest was the same as the comments the federal agent made when charges were filed earlier this month. It said in part, these actions by Minnesota sanctuary politicians are unlawful and nothing more than a political stunt. This is a federal issue and it must be handled in the federal level. Lying under the oath is a serious federal offense. The U.S. Attorney's Office is actively investigating these statements. Upon the conclusion of the investigation, the officers may face disciplinary action, including termination of employment, as well as potential criminal prosecution. Castro is the second federal officer to face charges in Minnesota following the Operation Metro Surge. Moriarty office charged Gregory Morgan Jr. of Maryland, who with 2 counts of second-degree assault allegedly pointing a gun at two people in a Twin City highway in February. Morgan turned himself in and last week was released on $100,000 bond. Man. So to drop a little commentary on this story, these guys are as crooked as a dog's leg, pretty much. To borrow old school saying, these guys as crooked as can be. Yeah, and you think they are in it for to make a city straight? No. Anytime you're gonna lie about something like this, you are crooked. And they wonder why these protesters are fighting them. And they wonder why. They wonder why they're doing what they're doing at these at their detention center. Because these guys, well, are crooked. Are crooked. As can be. But this is these are the soldiers that Tom Homan put out there. He's crooked along with Trump. That's all in the line. Trump feeding Tom Homan the agenda, and Tom Homan feeding his crooked soldiers the agenda as well. Everybody so desperate to feel that crazy agenda of Trump. So desperate that they are willing to lie about assault. Nope. And if they, and like I said, if you are willing to lie about assault or anything like this, yeah, you're a criminal. You just got a police looking jersey on. You just got a police looking. You're a criminal in a uniform. That's what I got. You're a criminal in a uniform. But this ain't nothing new with ICE. It's having behind that badge, fulfilling the agenda that Trump wants from the beginning. And all under the cover of getting these illegal immigrants. All under the cover of but like I said, to wrap this up, move on to our last story. Somehow the Republicans all of a sudden recognizes the law when it comes to fulfilling the agenda of Trump. They never recognized the law before. But all of a sudden they really know the law now. They know the law now. Shoot, and some boy, I swear, now they really know the law now, and they just don't practice what they preach. Yeah. Everybody knows the law now. But let's move on to the last story. This one has to be the most craziest one out of the two. Last story. From TMZ, this guy today, still sizzling. Minnesota GOP honors Derek Chauvin days after the anniversary of George Floyd. Yes, the same Derek Chauvin that put his knee on the neck of George Floyd, despite his cries for to stop, despite his cries for his mama. It's the same Derek Chauvin that they are planning to honor. They are planning to honor days after the anniversary of George Floyd's death. Make that make sense. Man. See, but this is the Trump world. That's the only thing I can say. It's the only thing I can say. Anytime you gonna honor the guy that pretty much did what he did to George Floyd. But let's get to the story. It's brought to you by TMZ. With the publisher, okay, let's see. Published June 1st, 2026, 9:55 a.m. Updated June 1st, 2026 at 1 p.m. Derek Chauvin. Okay. Minnesota GOP is catching a serious heat after delegates after delegates at the party's state convention held a moment of silence for Derek Chauvin. A moment of silence for Derek Chauvin. Former Minneapolis cop convicted of murdering George Floyd. According to multiple reports, convention proceeding kicked off Saturday morning with a 10-second moment of silence for Chauvin. Just days after the 6th anniversary of Floyd's death. Whew, that's a smack in the face. Chauvin, of course, was convicted in 2021 of murdering Floyd. Video showed Chauvin, a Minneapolis cop at the time, kneeling on Floyd's neck. After more than 9 minutes during a 2020 arrest, the footage sparked massive protests across the country, fueling calls for police reform and renewed scrutiny of the racial justice issues in law enforcement. Chauvin is currently serving a concurrent federal and state prison sentences and isn't scheduled for release until 2037. Minneapolis Attorney General Keith Ellison blasted the gesture, saying he was heartbroken and frankly shocked the Republicans would honor Chauvin, adding Minnesota's families, all of them deserve better. Right, Republican Jamie Law also slammed the moment of silence as disgusting. You better believe it. Right, multiple repeals of Chauvin's efforts to overturn his convictions have largely gone nowhere. The U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear his challenge to his state conviction in 2023, and he's still trying to undo his federal conviction. Clearly, there is still political divide when it comes to Chauvin and Floyd. Yeah, that's some sick stuff. It really is. You're gonna give a moment of silence for the guy that pretty much took out Floyd. you got some people floating around the world that will try to make sense out of that. But it sums up the world we're living in. It sums up Trump's world, where the majority are the victims, and the minority are the bad guys. That's what it is. It sums up the GOP right there. Because whoever heard of doing some garbage like a moment of silence for Derek Chauvin, the guy that had the knee on George Floyd's neck. Man. I don't know if this is real news, if this is fake news or what, but TMZ, they're pretty good. But man, that's crazy. That's crazy. You cannot, you can't justify it. Like the guy said, it's disgusting. It's a smack in the face to his family. But like I said, it's the GOP, the grand old party. Can't expect no less or no more. Can't expect no less or no more when it comes to the GOP. In other words, you got Minnesota Republican Party. Man, but like I say, it's Trump's world. where the majority is the victims, and the minority are the bad guys. See how mixed up it is? Man, that's mixed up. You can't get more mixed up than that. Let's be Captain Obvious. Man, a moment of silence with Derek Chauvin. But that'll do it on that one. At least I got two of these stories. Y'all have a good one. Have a good night. God help us all. I'm gone. This is another episode of the Reporter Vlog News for June 1st, 2026. I'm gone.